Sometimes you just have to laugh like hell, even at things that aren't supposed to be funny. Life can so often get tricky and complicated, why not find something humorous in the undisputable simplicity of it all? Horror movies are full of moments like this. They're famous for making people cringe and pull out their hair while shouting at the screen, "No, don't do that! Don't open the door, don't check the basement, don't turn around while the killer's following, don't try to electrocute the demon in the public swimming pool." But if everyone in every horror movie made perfect logical decisions at every turn, there wouldn't be much to see, right? So today we'll celebrate the stupid, we'll congratulate the idiotic, and we'll chuckle along with the worst choices possible. Hello horror heads, and welcome back to the scariest channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos. I'm your horror host, Keegan Hughes, and today we're going to count down the top 5 dumbest horror movie moments. Before we get the ball rolling, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more inane ineptitude. Perfect, let's begin. Slithering its way in at number 5, we've got touching the snake alien from Prometheus. A lot of folks say that Prometheus suffers from what media critics might call the idiot plot. This is a story in which every bad thing that happens, or at least most of them, stems from a character making a really poor decision, especially when they should know better. A lot of such decisions are made in this Ridley Scott flick, like people removing their helmets before being 100% sure the air is breathable, or boinking when you should be doing your job. All of the main characters are scientists or ex-military or other types of experts in their field, so bad decisions should be largely avoided, right? Well, a lot of these instances in the movie can be chalked up to relatively informed decision making rather than ineptitude. The air on the unexplored planet wasn't fully tested, sure, but the crew was functioning within the limits of acceptable risk based on their mission. The folks boinking probably knew they shouldn't be, but were under the assumption that things were probably under control at the time. However, the dumb moment we'll be addressing today is strictly dumb. Very dumb. Recklessly dumb. Milburn, the goofball biologist, decides it's a fantastic idea to closely inspect the alien snake thing that nobody has ever seen before. In fact, he's so transfixed that he reaches out to touch it. He is promptly killed. Why would a biologist ever approach a potentially hostile life form the way that Milburn did? That is a damn good question. One I don't have a proper answer for. Although up until that point in the movie, we weren't given too many reasons to believe that he was particularly brilliant as a biologist or as a functioning human being. He got scared of a hologram depicting other people running, prompting him to flee as well. He'd also been acting a fool on board the ship. So why did this man get hired? How did this man get hired? Crawling in at number 4, we've got the cat flap kill from Scream. To this day, I hope and pray that the next time I watch Scream, Tatum will actually take advantage of her ass kickery and curb stomp Ghostface until he's leaking. Sadly, this will never happen. During the serial killer lockdown party, which by the way is already a dumb idea, young Tatum heads out to grab some beer. Also, underage drinking? Dumb. Stay clean, kids. Of course, she runs into Ghostface while perusing the merchandise. At first, Tatum thinks that it's Randy playing a trick on her, but this is quickly corrected when he cuts her arm with a knife. She proceeds to blast him in the head with the freezer door, pelt him with beer bottles, and tabletop him into the stairs. She's got the 100% advantage here. She could kick him in the head till he goes limp. She could grab any of the sporting equipment in the garage and pummel him until he can't move. She could just click the garage door opener and exit stage left. But no. Our poor sweet Tatum decides to flee from her advantageous brawl and attempts to squeeze through the cat flap on the garage door. Unsurprisingly, a human body does not fit through this tiny portal. She gets stuck, Ghostface gets up, and she's soon crunched between the door and the ceiling. Come on, girl. Strolling in at number 3, we've got throwing away the map from the Blair Witch Project. I mean, most of the decisions made in this flick are bad ones. Unexplainable behavior abound. I guess this can be explained away by saying they're young adults. They're supposed to act stupid, right? A witch is cursing them, make them act weird. But at this particular moment, it is a special kind of stupid. Well into their walk through the woods, it becomes apparent that the map has gone missing. As the group frantically tries to locate their paper lifeline, Mike comes forward and reveals that he had kicked it into the creek the day before. Imagine being in that situation for a moment. You're in an unfamiliar forest, hunting a witch, creepy things are happening all around, and your friend, whose one job was to not kick the map into a creek and let it float away, just did that. I'd kill him. Right away. Trip over. You're dead. But he was frustrated. Don't you see? He had to kick the only point of reference they had into flowing water. How else would he express his dissatisfaction with the situation? Mike also claims that the map wasn't doing them any good anyways, which is an absolutely ridiculous thing to say when hiking in an unfamiliar area. Even if they didn't need it now, they'll sure as hell need it later. So of course, instead of giving up and walking back where they came from, they decide to follow the compass due south, getting them even more lost than ever before. This moves the plot along, sure, but who in their right mind would act in such a way? Maybe this is actually on Heather and Josh for letting Mike tag along in the first place. Rolling in at number 2, antifreeze oatmeal from Jack Frost. So Jack Frost is a pretty dumb premise to start with. A serial killer brought back to life by a noxious chemical as a near impervious snowman, making puns and killing everyone about town. Not your most cerebral slasher to say the least. However, the thing that does old Jack in puts the logline to shame in terms of stupidity. Early on in the movie we meet the main character, Sam, the sheriff slash dad. Now what's special about Sam? Well, he loves his son, but he's got a hard time hanging out with his son because he's a cop. Classic dad. So his son, wanting to do something special for dad, makes him a vile oatmealish concoction and puts it in a Ziploc bag for him. It'll keep you warm, Dad. Sam, seeing this and being repulsed, almost throws it away on the way to work, but his everlasting love for his beautiful son compels him to keep it a little while longer. Foreshadowing anyone? Later on, the townsfolk come up with a strategy to beat the snowman. Hair dryers. It works until it doesn't. Damn. Then in a tense car-based altercation, something horribly disfigures the killer snowman. Confused, Papa pulls out the Ziploc of oatmeal and realizes that this is the compound they need to kill it. Son, what's in there? Antifreeze, Dad, to keep you warm. Womp womp. Can you imagine if Sam just ate it to please his son? Dead. Immediately. Why did the young lad have access to antifreeze in the first place? Wasn't the mom overseeing his cooking process? How did nobody prevent this from happening? Perfectly convenient and nonsensical, just like all good plot points should be. Deus Ex Machina. So in a last desperate bid, they get all the town's antifreeze in the bed of a truck and concoct a plan to get the snowman into it. Some upstairs window jumping occurs and everyone lives happily ever after. For now. And finally, number 1, the computer striptease from Tammy and the T-Rex. Oh boy. Back in the 90s, it wouldn't even really be a horror movie thanks to some studio intervention getting all the gore taken out ahead of the release. It just played as a wacky teenage romp featuring a certifiably insane duo of mad scientists. But then they released the gore cut in 2019 in all its ooey gooey glory, and we've got ourselves a ridiculous, hilarious, dumb as a doorknob monster movie. Clean as a whistle jock boy, Michael is vying for the love and attention of the prototypical 90s babe Tammy. Too bad she's got a hard as nails violent lunatic of an ex-boyfriend. The two lads tussle, one thing leads to another, with Michael eventually being kidnapped and dropped off in the middle of a nature reserve full of lions and jaguars. Naturally, he gets mauled and falls into a coma. His drunk of an uncle doesn't do a good job of waiting up for him at the hospital, which allows the mad scientist to stroll in, declare Michael dead, and steal his brain to be used to power a giant animatronic T-Rex. His still living brain is placed in a big bowl of fluid, and then this bowl is put into the dinosaur, and then he goes on a rampage. And we haven't even got to the dumb part yet. The computer striptease. And I'm not talking about someone's OnlyFans account. I mean that Michael is literally reliant on a computer to exist. His brain is freed from the dinosaur, but no other bodies are available, so he's been attached to a PC to live out his days. Tammy is now his caretaker slash body hunter slash girlfriend, robbing graves and pillaging morgues while she attends to his needs. For whatever reason, this means pouring alcohol directly onto his exposed brain as sustenance, and this makes his perfectly rendered human face appear on a monitor. In an act of unconditional love and intimacy, Tammy now performs a striptease for Computer Michael. Yes, the high school sophomore is now wearing angelic lingerie and dancing for her digital boyfriend. Michael then gets so excited that sparks fly from the wires connecting his brain to the screen, and this is normal. It's good even. My god. So, how you feeling after that? Losing a few IQ points is actually quite soothing. You know, brain cells aren't meant to last forever. What did you think of the list? What's the dumbest horror movie moment you can muster up? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your more bombastic ones from the top 5 best horror movies of 2020 so far. Daniel Smith Herod says, "Thanks for the heads up on the new films, Keegan. I might just leave my Fallout shelter." Damn dude, that's commitment. You could probably find some on video on demand if you want to remain Fallout sheltered. Heathosor Cambaliza says, "The new Quite Place." Ah yes, I've heard the new Quite Place is quite indeed. Wonderful. Velcro Kitty says, "I don't understand the hate directed towards The Mummy. I really liked it. Am I the only one?" Common misconception, just because someone says something was disappointing or underwhelming doesn't mean they hate it. Plus, it was a box office flop trying to start its own cinematic universe, and claiming that it underperformed is more fact than opinion. Pearl Kohler says Elijah Wood is having a serious moment. And he's been having moments. The lad knows how to pick outrageous roles. Remember Wilfred? And Moon Knight 8 asks, "Keegan, can you adopt me? In this economy? Not likely." And that's all the time we have for today. Before I challenge the devil to a rock-off, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more baffling buffoonery. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.